When I saw my dead daughter's desert garden blooming perfect after 2 years of abandonment, I knew someone was living in her house. But when I checked the hidden cameras I'd installed, what I discovered made my blood run cold. My name is Preston Clark. I'm 62 years old, and I'm grateful you're here listening to my story. Before we step inside that ranch together, tell me, where in the world are you right now and what time is it there? Your presence means everything. The drive from Phoenix to Flagstaff takes 2.5 hours on a good day. That late October afternoon, with autumn colors painting the high desert landscape, I felt nothing but the weight of 2 years pressing down on my chest. I'd avoided this place since Isabella's funeral. The ranch had been my gift to her, $620,000, overlooking the red rocks she'd loved since childhood. Now it was just another monthly bill bleeding me dry. My financial advisor had been firm last week. Preston, you need to sell it. So here I was, making a trip I'd put off for 24 months. I needed to see it one last time. Box up her things, say goodbye. I turned onto the narrow gravel road winding up through the junipers. It was nearly 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I reached the gate. I had to stop the truck. The wooden gate was gleaming. Fresh stain, new hinges. I'd expected weathering and rust after 2 years of abandonment. Then I saw the garden, Isabella's desert garden. The expensive imported cacti and native plants that needed careful attention, specific soil, precise watering schedules. They were thriving, lush, perfect. The drip irrigation system was running. Someone had tended them that morning. My pulse quickened. Those plants should have died within months. The padlock turned smoothly. The gate swung open without a sound. I walked up the stone path, my hands starting to shake. The front door unlocked easily. I stepped inside and stopped. Lavender. Fresh lavender air freshener. The same brand Isabella used to buy from that shop in Sedona. The living room looked like a magazine spread. Spotless leather furniture. Polished Saltillo tile floors. Afternoon sunlight streamed through the windows, illuminating fresh-cut desert wildflowers on the dining table. My chest tightened. In the kitchen, I opened the refrigerator. My hands were trembling now. It was full. Fresh milk dated 3 days ago. Vegetables, fruit, eggs, leftover enchiladas in a glass container. I gripped the granite counter to steady myself. Someone was living here in my daughter's house. Who would do this? How did they get in? I was about to call the police. My hand went to my jacket pocket. My wallet, my phone, they were all in the truck. Then I remembered something Isabella never knew about. When I'd had this place built, I'd installed a hidden security room behind a bookshelf in the upstairs office. Cameras in every corner, recording everything to a hard drive. Isabella had thought I was paranoid, so I'd kept it secret. But the system was still there, still watching. I looked up at the ceiling where I knew a camera was embedded in a smoke detector. If someone was living here, the cameras would have caught everything. My hands were shaking as I climbed the stairs to Isabella's old office. I'd barely been inside the house 10 minutes, yet everything already felt altered. The office was exactly as she'd left it. Her desk by the window, her favorite fountain pen in its holder, her shelves filled with mystery novels. Only I knew what hid behind those shelves. I went to the third shelf, slid my hand along the bottom edge, and pressed the concealed panel. A quiet click sounded. The bookshelf shifted forward. I pulled it open just enough to slip inside. The hidden room was small, 8 by 8 feet. 3 dark monitors lined a narrow desk. When I powered the system, the hum of equipment vibrated through the cramped space. I entered Isabella's birthday as the password. The dashboard opened, revealing live feeds of the living room, kitchen, and master bedroom. Empty. At least for now, I was alone, seeking answers. I opened the recordings from the previous evening, time-stamped 8 o'clock. At first, the rooms were empty. I fast-forwarded. Suddenly, on the living room feed, the front door opened and the lights flicked on. A man walked in with the ease of someone who owned the place. He wore khakis and a polo shirt, the kind Isabella always bought for comfort. When he turned toward the camera hidden behind the wall clock, his face came into full view. Vincent, my son-in-law, my dead daughter's husband. My chest tightened. He had spent 2 years crying poverty, asking me for loans, claiming his marketing business was collapsing. Yet here he was, living comfortably in Isabella's ranch. But the shock wasn't over. Vincent flopped onto the sofa, turned on the TV, and called upstairs. "Babe, want something to drink?" A woman descended the stairs, wearing silk pajamas, her hair loose, her walk confident. When she stepped under the chandelier, the camera caught her face clearly. Charlotte, Isabella's best friend. The woman who had held my hand at the funeral, the woman who claimed she was too overwhelmed to visit this ranch even once. Yet here she was, living with Vincent, as though the house belonged to them. I turned up the volume, my hands trembling. Charlotte brought him a tray of fruit and 2 glasses of wine. She sat too close. Vincent wrapped an arm around her. She leaned against him. "It's perfect here," Vincent said, sounding satisfied. "Taking care of this place was worth it." Charlotte fed him a grape and smirked. "Better than selling it cheap to that clueless old man. Preston will never suspect anything. He thinks you're the devoted son-in-law and I'm the faithful friend." Clueless old man. The words hit like a blow. Vincent stood and paced. "How long do we keep hiding? When can we put the house in our names? I'm tired of pretending to be broke." Charlotte laughed coldly. "Relax. Everything takes time. We already got rid of Isabella 2 years ago without a trace. Property transfers are nothing." My breath vanished. I replayed the line to be sure. We already got rid of Isabella 2 years ago without a trace. My body shook uncontrollably. Isabella's death had always been labeled a natural heart attack. No autopsy, no questions. 2 years of grief now shattered by this confession. "Don't say that out loud," Vincent warned. "If anyone hears, we're done." "Who's going to hear us?" Charlotte mocked. "This estate is isolated. Preston won't come back and the locals don't care." Before I could gather myself, a sudden engine roar sounded from the driveway. I checked the exterior feed. Vincent's white SUV was pulling in. They were coming back. Within seconds, everything shifted from discovery to survival. I checked the exterior camera. Vincent's SUV stopped beside my truck. He stepped out, saw my vehicle, and froze. "Whose truck is this?" he snapped, circling it. "It's Preston's." "What the hell is he doing here?" Charlotte exited, her face draining of color. "He said he was in Tucson. Why would he come here?" "I don't know, but he can't see us," Vincent muttered, pulling something from his pocket. "Find him now." My heart pounded. They had killed Isabella. If they found me, I'd be next. Vincent was younger, stronger, and desperate. I shut off the monitor so no light leaked out. Darkness swallowed the hidden room. Downstairs, the front door slammed open. "Preston!" Vincent's voice echoed through the house. Heavy footsteps moved across the floor. "He's not down here," Charlotte called. "Check upstairs." Cold dread surged through me. The tiny room had no exit except the bookshelf. They were coming. My eyes went to the ventilation grate, my only chance. I climbed onto the desk, removed the grate, and pulled myself into the narrow duct. Metal scraped my arms as I crawled through dust and darkness. Behind me, Vincent burst into the office. "Check behind that bookshelf." I always thought it looked weird. I crawled faster, ignoring the stabbing pain in my elbows. The duct twisted sharply. Then I saw faint light ahead, an exterior vent opening onto the back roof. I kicked it out and squeezed through onto slick tiles as clouds gathered overhead. Below was a 12-foot drop. Shouts erupted inside. They had found the open vent. No time. I lowered myself over the edge and let go. I hit the gravel hard, pain exploding in my ankle. Gritting my teeth, I limped toward the desert garden, the only path to the back wall. Cacti spines tore my clothes and skin, blood streaking my hands. The adobe wall rose before me, 6 feet high. I jumped, grabbed the top, and hauled myself over, my ankle screaming. I dropped onto the shoulder of the mountain road. For a moment, I lay gasping in the dust. Then Vincent shouted from inside. He went over the wall. "Get the truck." I forced myself up and ran down the highway. No plan, no phone, just fear driving me forward. My wallet held $200 and an ATM card, but my phone, keys, and everything else were still at the ranch. All the evidence, too. Wind whipped across the high desert, the cold slicing through my clothes. Each step sent shocks of pain through my injured ankle. Headlights appeared behind me, Vincent's truck. I dove into the brush, hiding behind a boulder as he sped past, hunting. When his taillights vanished, I returned to the road and kept moving. Time blurred. My lungs burned. My legs trembled. By the time distant lights appeared through the haze, it was nearly 6 o'clock. I had been walking for hours, dusty, injured, terrified, and worst of all, I had left every piece of evidence behind. I limped down the mountain highway for what felt like hours. Desert wind cut through my jacket, and blood from the cactus spines had dried on my hands. It was nearly 8 o'clock when the lights of a small diner appeared through the dust. Inside, only a trucker sat at the counter with an elderly woman behind it. She took one look at me and grabbed a towel. "You all right, hun?" "My truck broke down up the mountain," I lied. "Could I use your phone?" She guided me to the old landline by the kitchen. "Take your time." With shaking hands, I dialed Maxwell, the only number I remembered by heart. We went back 40 years, business partners, divorce survivors, wedding toasts. If anyone would help, it was Maxwell. He answered on the second ring. Preston? Maxwell, I need help. Can you wire me $2,000 tonight? He didn't ask why. Western Union or bank transfer? Western Union. I'm in Flagstaff. Give me 30 minutes. That was Maxwell. No questions, no hesitation. I thanked the diner owner, ordered coffee I couldn't drink, and waited. My burner phone, bought with my last $50 at a gas station, buzzed exactly half an hour later. Maxwell had sent the money and added 2 words, "Stay safe." I picked up the cash, checked into the Mountain View Motel, and collapsed. But sleep didn't come. My mind replayed the recording. Charlotte's laugh, Vincent's smirk. We already got rid of Isabella. Morning came with one clear goal, find proof. I headed to Desert Pharmacy, Isabella's regular place. Theodore, the young pharmacy tech who'd always been kind to her, looked startled when I walked in with bandaged hands. "Mr. Clark, I heard about the ranch. Are you okay?" "I need your help," I said quietly. "I need to see Isabella's prescription history the last month before she died." His face drained of color. "Sir, I can't just—" "Theodore, something was wrong about her death. Please." After a tense pause, he checked the empty store, then pulled up her file. We stared at the screen. "This doesn't make sense," he murmured. Her heart medication, the one we filled for 2 years, was canceled, replaced with this. He pointed to an entry, an unregulated herbal heart supplement, $280 a month, not covered by insurance and risky for someone with her condition. "Who authorized the change?" I asked. He clicked deeper. His jaw dropped. "It says you did." "There's an authorization letter with your signature. I never signed anything." He printed the document. The signature looked like mine, but wrong, shaky, sloppy, and the date chilled me. That week, I'd been hospitalized with severe flu. I couldn't have signed anything. "Theodore, do you remember who picked up this prescription?" He closed his eyes, thinking. A woman, long dark hair. She said she was a close family friend, paid cash every time. His brow furrowed. She had a gold bracelet with a big letter C. Charlotte, my daughter's best friend, had poisoned her. I folded the documents and slipped them into my jacket. "Theodore, please keep this between us." "Mr. Clark, shouldn't you go to the police?" "Not yet," I said, because going to the police would be too easy for them. Lawyers, negotiations, maybe a plea deal. Maybe Vincent's family money would soften everything. Maybe they'd get 10 years or 5 or less. No, they needed to feel what Isabella felt. The betrayal, the fear, the slow dawning that the people you trusted most wanted you gone. I had proof now, but what I needed was justice, and I intended to get it. I sat in the motel room for hours, staring at the forged signature and my daughter's name on the bottle of poison. The afternoon light crawled across the thin carpet, and I watched it move like time slipping past. By sunset, I knew exactly what I had to do. Around 4 o'clock, I picked up the burner phone and dialed Vincent's number. My hands were steady. I had practiced this moment repeatedly. He answered on the 3rd ring. "Hello?" I let my voice tremble, weak and confused. "Vincent, it's Preston. I went to the ranch yesterday." A long pause. "Preston, where are you? We saw your truck. What happened?" "I saw her." I forced a shaky breath. "I saw Isabella, her spirit standing on the porch, staring at me." I panicked. "A truck driver gave me a ride down the mountain. I can't go back." Silence. I could hear him calculating. "Preston, that's grief," he said, voice softening. "Your mind playing tricks. There are no ghosts." "I know what I saw," I whispered. She looked angry, like I failed her. "You didn't fail anyone." He sounded more confident now, convinced I was unraveling. "Where are you?" "I'm staying with Maxwell in Phoenix. I can't drive back." "Could you bring my truck? I'll pay you for the gas." "Of course you don't need to pay." "We're family." Relief leaked into his voice. "I'll bring it to Maxwell's place tomorrow." "Thank you, son." The word tasted bitter. "I don't know what I'd do without you." After hanging up, I sat in silence. I could picture him telling Charlotte the good news. The old man is losing his mind. Seeing ghosts, no threat at all. Let them believe that. That night, once I was sure they felt safe again, I sent the first message. I'd bought a second burner phone, paid cash, no ID. I typed the text slowly. "That herbal remedy tasted bitter, didn't it? I saw you too at the pharmacy that day." I hit send, waited for delivery, then removed the battery. I imagine Vincent reading it, maybe driving with Charlotte beside him, his face draining of color, hands tightening on the wheel. Charlotte's panic rising as she asked, "Who sent this? Who knows about the pharmacy?" And Vincent snapping back, "You said Theodore wouldn't talk. You said you paid him." "I did." "It can't be him." "Then who?" "Preston? He's a grieving old fool who sees ghosts." But doubt would wedge itself between them. Fear would twist their thoughts. Every phone call, every sound in the night, they'd question everything and each other. Fear doesn't just scare you, it corrodes trust. I imagine them arguing, voices sharp, old certainty crumbling, the alliance that killed my daughter cracking just slightly at first. But I would keep pressing, keep pushing until the fracture widened and shattered completely. I lay back on the motel bed and closed my eyes. Let them tear themselves apart. Fear is a virus, and I had just infected them both. For the next 2 days, I didn't stop. I sent more messages, each crafted to feed their paranoia. "Isabella trusted both of you. Look what you did." The cameras saw everything. I kept them vague, threatening enough to terrify, but never specific enough to trace. I wanted them looking over their shoulders, doubting everything, because Vincent and Charlotte didn't understand what I had learned. Greed and fear make terrible partners. On the evening of day 4, I sat in my motel room staring at the burner phone. I didn't have a tracking app. I didn't know where they were or what they were planning. But I didn't need to. I had psychology. If I could convince Vincent that Charlotte was betraying him, he'd destroy her himself. And if I was lucky, she might already be doing something suspicious, something that would make my lie feel like truth. So I typed one more message, this time only to Vincent. "Your partner is selling the house behind your back. Old warehouse near exit 407 Flagstaff, 10 a.m. tomorrow. Don't let her run off with your money." I hit send, turned off the phone, and removed the battery. It was a complete fabrication. I had no idea if Charlotte was selling anything, but their collapsing alliance and Vincent's paranoia would take care of the rest. Tomorrow would be the day everything came together. Day 5, I woke early and waited. Around 11 o'clock a.m., my gamble paid off in a way I never expected. I was driving along a back road near Flagstaff when I heard sirens, police, ambulance, fire truck rushing toward the mountain highway. I pulled over at a gas station and called 911 from a payphone. "There's been a car accident on Highway 89 near the Overlook," I said, disguising my voice. A sedan went off the road. I hung up and drove after the emergency vehicles, staying far behind. When I reached the scene, I parked on the shoulder and raised the binoculars I'd bought at a hardware store. There it was, Charlotte's silver sedan, crushed against a tree. The front end was mangled, and Vincent stood beside it, soaking wet, holding a tire iron. I watched him wrench open the driver's side door and drag Charlotte out. She was alive but injured, limping, clutching her ribs. She tried to resist, crying as she pulled away, but he was stronger. I couldn't hear the words, but I didn't need to. The rage on his face said everything. My lie had worked. Somehow Vincent had gone through her belongings and found something, property documents, messages, whatever it was. It convinced him she was betraying him. And now he was dragging her back to the one place he believed was safe, the ranch. I watched as Vincent forced Charlotte into his truck and sped off, gravel spraying behind him. I waited until the police finished securing the crash site. Then I started my engine and followed slowly, cautiously, keeping distance. I knew exactly where he was headed, and this time I'd be there first. Years ago, long before Isabella ever knew, I had hidden a backup key under a loose stone near the tool shed. I'd installed the security system myself, never telling her. I had always been careful, prepared. Now that preparation mattered more than ever. I'd reached the ranch hours before them, using the backup key I'd hidden years ago. By the time the sun set, I was ready. The hidden control room was exactly as I'd left it. Dusty, cramped, but fully functional. A wall of monitors showed every corner of the house. Speakers, lights, locks, even the lavender diffuser I'd installed in the hallway years ago when Isabella complained about the musty smell. Everything connected to a single tablet on the desk in front of me. I'd built this system to protect her, now I'd use it to destroy the people who'd killed her. At 8 p.m., headlights cut through the darkness. Vincent's pickup truck skidded to a stop in the gravel driveway. I watched on the screen as he dragged Charlotte out. She was limping badly, clutching her ribs, terrified. He shoved her through the front door and slammed it shut. Then he grabbed a bookshelf and dragged it in front of the entrance, barricading them inside. Charlotte collapsed on the couch, shivering. Vincent didn't even look at her. He went straight to the fireplace, pulled a hammer from his jacket, and started smashing the wall. Thunder rumbled outside. Lightning lit up the room in flashes. I leaned forward and pressed the first button. Stage 1. Darkness. Every light in the house went out. Charlotte screamed. Vincent fumbled for his phone, turning on the flashlight. "It's just the power," he snapped, his voice shaking. The storm knocked it out. "Calm down." But I could see his hands trembling as he went back to hammering the wall. Stage 2. Music. I activated the ceiling speakers. A soft melody filled the house. Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major, Isabella's favorite. Vincent froze mid-swing. Charlotte's head snapped up. "Who turned that on?" she whispered, her voice breaking. "Vincent, we need to leave now." "Shut up," he barked. "It's probably on a timer or something. Just give me a minute." But his voice cracked. He didn't believe it either. Stage 3. Lavender. I pressed another button. The hallway diffuser activated, releasing the scent of lavender, the same brand Isabella used to buy every month. Charlotte bolted upright, eyes wide with terror. "That's her perfume. That's Isabella's perfume. She's here, Vincent. Her ghost is here." Vincent spun around, hammer raised. "There's no such thing as ghosts." But his face was pale. Sweat dripped down his temples despite the cold. Stage 4. The rocking chair. I switched to the master bedroom camera. The rocking chair sat in the corner, the one Isabella used to sit in while reading. I'd installed a small motor beneath it years ago, just a novelty feature to make it rock gently on command. I activated it now. Vincent must have heard the creaking because he bolted upstairs, light bouncing wildly. When he reached the bedroom doorway, he stopped dead. The chair was rocking slowly, steadily, as if someone invisible were sitting in it. "No," he whispered. "No, no, no." Downstairs, Charlotte was sobbing uncontrollably, curled up in the corner. Stage 5. The safe. Vincent stumbled back down the stairs, his face twisted with a mix of terror and rage. He returned to the wall and swung the hammer with manic desperation. Adobe exploded. Dust filled the air, and then there it was, a steel safe door with a numeric keypad embedded deep in the wall behind the fireplace. Vincent dropped the hammer and grabbed the keypad with shaking hands. He tried their wedding date. Incorrect. He tried the day Isabella died. Incorrect. He tried his own birthday. Incorrect. "Come on," he screamed, slamming his fist against the metal. "Open!" Finally, in desperation, Vincent tried Isabella's birth date. The safe clicked open. "Yes!" he screamed, his voice cracking with triumph. "Charlotte, it's open!" "It's—" He yanked the door wide, shining his phone's flashlight inside. The safe was empty, except for one thing. A tablet screen glowing softly in the darkness. And on that screen, me. I sat in a chair staring directly into the camera. Live. "Congratulations, Vincent," I said, my voice cold and steady through the tablet speaker. "You opened the safe. Unfortunately, the assets were moved into a secure account 2 years ago, the day after you murdered my daughter." Vincent's face twisted in rage. He grabbed the tablet and hurled it to the floor. It shattered into pieces. "Show yourself, old man," he roared. "Come out and face me." I stepped out from the hallway and into the light at the top of the staircase. Vincent's head snapped up. He grabbed the tire iron from the floor and charged toward the stairs. "You think I'm scared of you?" he snarled, climbing fast. "You're just a weak old man, alone, no police, no one to help you." I held up the remote control in my hand. "I don't need help. You're going to destroy yourself." I pressed the button. White smoke exploded from the ceiling vents, thick, choking, blinding. The fire suppression system I'd installed years ago now filled the entire house. Vincent stumbled backward, coughing violently, eyes streaming. He swung the tire iron wildly, unable to see me through the fog. My voice echoed through the speakers embedded in every room. This system was installed to protect us from intruders. I never imagined the intruder would be my own son-in-law. Through the smoke, Vincent screamed. Not in pain, in fury. "You want the truth, old man?" "Fine. Yeah, I planned it. I told Charlotte to switch those damn pills." My chest tightened, but I didn't move. He kept going, shouting uncontrolled, the words pouring out like poison. Isabella was a spoiled little princess. She had everything handed to her. This $620,000 ranch, the trust fund, all of it wasted on her. She didn't deserve any of it. His voice cracked. He was pacing now, swinging the tire iron at nothing. "And you, old man, you're next. I'll make it look like an accident, just like I did with her." I stood perfectly still, letting him speak, letting him confess everything. Every word, every crime, every twisted thought. When he finally stopped, gasping for breath, I pointed up at the ceiling. Vincent looked up. Cameras, dozens of them, embedded in smoke detectors, light fixtures, vents. Small red LED lights blinked steadily on each one. Recording, broadcasting. "Those cameras aren't just recording, Vincent," I said, my voice like ice. "For the past 15 minutes, they've been live streaming. Detective Hayes is watching, Attorney Parker is watching, Maxwell is watching. And 20 of Isabella's friends and family members are watching you confess to murdering my daughter." Vincent's face went white. The tire iron slipped from his hand and clattered to the floor. From downstairs, Charlotte sobbed. "Vincent, what did you do?" Outside, sirens wailed. Red and blue lights flashed through the windows. A voice boomed over a megaphone. "This is the Coconino County Sheriff's Office. Come out with your hands up." I pressed another button on the remote. The front door unlocked with a soft click. Vincent tried to run, but his legs buckled beneath him. Officers stormed inside. Flashlights, radios, boots thundering across the floor. "Hands behind your back now." They yanked Vincent to his feet, cuffed his wrists, and read him his Miranda rights while he stammered incoherently. Downstairs, Charlotte was cuffed too, still crying. I walked slowly to the window and watched as they dragged Vincent out into the night. He fell face first into the dirt of Isabella's desert garden, the garden he'd pretended to care for while living in her home, spending her money, erasing her memory. Detective Hayes met my eyes through the window and gave a single solemn nod. It was over. 6 months later, I sat in the courtroom as the judge read the verdict. Vincent Walsh, life in prison without parole for first-degree murder. Charlotte Manning, 20 years for conspiracy and accessory after the fact. I didn't cry. I didn't speak. I just watched them with hollow eyes. 3 months after the trial ended, I stood once more at the ranch's gate, but this time everything was different. A new wooden sign hung above the entrance. Isabella's Legacy Ranch, a safe haven for farming families. I'd transformed the place. The bedrooms became temporary housing for families facing foreclosure. The living room became a counseling space. The kitchen became a place for cooking classes. And the desert garden, Isabella's garden, became a therapy space where children could play and heal. On opening day, 5 families moved in. Laughter echoed through the hallways for the first time in years. I sat on a wooden bench in the desert garden, watching the children run through the rows of blooming cacti, the same plants Vincent had pretended to care for. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, walked up to me shyly. She had dark curls and big brown eyes. "Mr. Clark," she said softly, holding out a single desert marigold. "This is for you." I took the flower, my throat tightening. "Thank you, sweetheart." She smiled and ran back to join the other kids. I sat there for a long time holding that flower, watching the children play. The sun was warm, the sky was blue, and for the first time in 2 years, I felt something close to peace. I looked up at that clear Arizona sky and whispered, "Rest easy, Isabella. The house is clean again, just like your heart always was." Looking back now, I realize this story taught me something I wish I'd understood years earlier. Trust, but verify. Don't wait until it's too late to protect the people you love. Pay attention. Watch who they surround themselves with. Notice the small signs, the lies that don't quite add up. But here's what I learned. Through all the pain, evil doesn't get the last word. I was given the strength to seek justice when I had nothing left. The wisdom to turn my daughter's death into something that could help others. Even in our darkest valleys, there's still a chance for redemption. Isabella's Legacy Ranch now shelters dozens of families every year. That's her legacy, not the betrayal, not the murder, but hope. So this is my advice from one father to anyone listening. Love fiercely, protect wisely, and never, ever ignore your instincts. If this story moved you, please leave a comment below. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss another story. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. Your support keeps these stories alive. God bless you all.